I just discovered a new way to enjoy my coffee. With a straw. Hello, bonjour, good day. Welcome to another episode. I thought I'd jump on real quick and share a conversation I just had with a gentleman on the metro. So I'm sitting down and this older gentleman walks in a stop later. And so naturally I get up to offer him my seat. He says, no, it's okay. I'm like, are you sure? He says, yeah, no, it's okay. So I look at him, I say, well, that's how you stay young forever, sir. So he looks at me and says, well, how old do you think I am? And I say, 60s? I say, 60s? He goes, 70s? He says, I'm 83. I said, hey, I was born in 1983. And then we continued talking for the next 15, 20 minutes that we were on the metro, however long it was. Very, very lovely. It's a gentleman from Malaysia. And so we were talking, but of Indian descent. So what did and so we started talking about how, I used to live in Southeast Asia, and I've been to Malaysia, Penang, Kuala Lumpur, Genting Highlands. If you want to check out a cool spot on Google Earth, go check out Genting Highlands in Malaysia. It's basically a mountain. It's a city on the mountaintop that is exclusively designated for gambling. Okay, so Malaysia being a Muslim country, one of the most beautiful countries you'll ever see, but a zero tolerance policy when it comes to drugs. Meaning, if you get caught doing drugs, smoking weed or whatever, it's the death penalty. Yes, they have a serious policy against doing drugs. Now, I'm not down with the death penalty. In fact, I think the death penalty is complete insanity. But whatevs. This is not what we're not going to get into that right now. And so I was Genting Highlands is it's a gambling town, pretty much owned by the Chinese. If you know anything about gambling, and people say, oh, yeah, like Vegas is the home base of gambling. Think about Macau. Go to Macau. Macau's next level. The Chinese love their gambling. They love their gambling. So anyways, Genting Highlands in Malaysia. So we're talking, and he's telling me, since he told me he's of Indian descent, I asked him about, he was alive when during the time of Gandhi, and we touched on the big, the Million Man March, I believe is what it was, or the Salt March, where the Indian government had decided to start taxing salt, and so under the leadership of Gandhi, millions and millions and millions of people walked across the country to the sea to harvest their own salt. Check that out. There's your little history lesson for the day. And it was really lovely. Then told me he moved to Canada when he was like 30 years ago. He's been here 30 years. His kids went to McGill and yada, yada, yada. And so I asked him, how long have you been married, sir? And he says, 55 years. I believe that is platinum. Is it? I think like silver is 25. Yes, my battery died, and I wanted to continue on this. So here, check this out. So 55 years is actually called a golden anniversary. Hold on, 25, 20, silver. So 25 is silver, and 20 and 50 is the gold jubilee, I think it's called. But so check this out. This is a cool little thing I then checked out. It's the flowers associated with each year of your marriage. And I wanted to touch base with the gentleman about, you know, what it's like to have been married for 55 years, and it really touches me when I hear of those things. And I have a handful of friends whose parents are still together after many, you know, their whole life, including my parents. It's now, I think, almost, well, it's 20. How old is my brother? My brother's 27, so they've been married for 27 years, right? Which is really quite impressive. And when you think about modern day relationships and the trials and tribulations that come along with them, and you know, there's such a push to just say, oh, it didn't work out, so F you, and I don't want to be with you anymore. And it's sad, really, because it ultimately means that the family structure is really being torn down, and you know, couples are not lasting anymore. I have several friends. It's funny, I made the joke the other day. My buddy got married 3 years ago. In September would be 3 years. And I saw an ex-girlfriend of a friend, and we all went to that wedding together. And I made the observation that everybody who went to that wedding is no longer together, including my buddy who got married. Now, he's not officially divorced, he's separated. So he has a new girlfriend and everything, and he's in love, and he blah, 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 blah. But it's just really funny that, like I said, everybody who went to Mexico that year is no longer together. And then I have a bunch of other friends. I have spoken about my buddy who got married 5 years ago or 6 years ago or something like that, and he's been going through hell, divorced and everything, and you know, legal fees up the wazoo. I have another buddy of mine who has a child who got married last year, and was it last year? No, it was the year before, and they have a child, and they too are separated, and it's what is going on? What the F is going on? How come people cannot maintain relationships? I'm not going to sit here and try to blame whatever, but just an observation of the fact that, you know, relationships are really very volatile these days, very they just don't last. And you know, myself going through situation where you know, want to try and rekindle that. It's gonna take whatever it's gonna take to rekindle that. So, but yeah, I thought I'd share that with you today. Let's go through some of these flowers. Okay, so the 21st anniversary is a brass. It's called brass. And then you have copper at 25, at 22. 23rd is silver plate. Or is this the gifts that you're supposed to give? And then you have the silver, the iris. Silver weddings have a long tradition in medieval Germany. Husbands gave their wives a wreath of silver when they had been married for 25 years. Silver bridals are mentioned in an English church record of 1624, and the term silver feast is attributed to the Germans in a letter to Dr. Samuel Johnson in 1806. Couples may want to buy something special to commemorate this first major milestone in their relationship. Blah, 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 blah. So, orchids, 28th. Oh, that's cool. So next year on my parents' 28th anniversary, I'll offer them some orchids. Oh, 29th, that's where you get new furniture. No kidding. After 29 years of marriage. Yeah, sweetie, I think we should maybe buy some new furniture. Yeah, I hope so. If you need it, I mean, hey, if you're into that sort of thing. Cool stuff. Bone china, huh? Ruby. Do you know where the world's finest rubies come from? Huh? Anybody? Anybody? I'll tell ya, because I used to live in the country where the world's finest rubies come from. Myanmar, aka Burma. Burma was the British colonial name for the country. So, this is good. A quick little one, just to give some couple motivation to all of you out there that are looking to get into a new relationship, or if you're in a new relationship, just consider that, you know? Think about what it is you want, and don't settle for just anybody because you don't want to be alone. And I realized that I'm not going to do the same. Just, I can't be alone. I have no problems being alone. So I'd rather be alone than in bad company. On that note, in that tone, see you very soon. Mon ami, mi amigo, my friend, meu amigo. Até a próxima. Obrigado. Ciao.